Well, welcome to our Module 5 live session. It is 6:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I realize that there might be some people coming in, but I do want to make sure to respect everyone's time who is here and begin on time. As we get started, I want to do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me okay and see the PowerPoint okay?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So it looks like we are in good shape. So welcome tonight, everyone, to the final live Module 5 live session. In this live session, we will be covering introductions as always. We'll have checking in Module 5 journal assignment expectations, important due dates, reflection, and critical thinking questions from Chapter 8. 6 principles for engaging families in an effective way, and then we'll wrap up with question and answer time. My goal is to try to make it shorter than an hour, if possible, because I know a lot of you guys have discussions to do tonight, and there is a lot of stuff due for this week, which we will be talking about in a little bit. So, you know, as always, it's nice to know and hear a little bit about from everybody in a live session. As you guys all know, my name is Mike and I live in Colorado. I do have a master's degree in early childhood education. And one of my favorite movies as a child was Home Alone. I actually still like watching it to this day. I don't really know how appropriate that would be for a young child, but I thought it was pretty hilarious, and I honestly still think it is pretty hilarious every time I watch it. I just want to open it up for conversation with everyone. So yeah, just name who you are, where you live, and what your favorite movie is and why.
I'll go first. I also should say that I have strep throat right now, so pardon me. I don't sound very good. My name is Danielle Winford. I come from Rockford, Illinois. I'm trying to get my associates in early childhood development. I'd have to say my main favorite movies growing up would have been all the Disney classics. We grew up watching tapes and tapes of the Disney movies. My favorite was Aladdin. We went to go see the new one when it came out over this week. Yeah, I can't say that I can pick a specific favorite movie. Growing up in the 80s, all the good kid movies we had.
Well, thank you for sharing, Danielle. Was the Aladdin movie good?
It was really good. Everybody had controversy over Robin Williams and Will Smith playing him, but he actually did very good with the character. He did it justice.
Nice. We'll have to see it. Thanks for sharing and welcome.
I'll go next. My name's Lindsay. I'm in Iowa, and I'm also in the Associates program here. My favorite movie as a child, again, probably a lot of the Disney movies. I'm really glad to hear that Aladdin movie was good. I really remember liking, what was it? The Brave Little Toaster. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that movie. It was sort of strange. But yeah, it was just really different. So
Awesome. No, I've never heard of that actually.
yeah, it's a cartoon. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's about a bunch of household appliances that go on this big adventure, I guess.
Interesting. Well, nice. Well, welcome, Lindsay, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
I guess I'll go next.
My name is Catherine. I currently live in Vermont. I'm going for my associates in early childhood ed, hoping to work with special needs children. I guess that I would say my favorite movies growing up, and I put them as a category because I was literally obsessed with musicals. As I got older, I went through musical theater in elementary school, middle school, high school. I enjoyed anything that had to do with music, so I adored Annie, Sound of Music, Fiddler on the Roof, all that kind of stuff. And I have seen The Brave Little Toaster. Blanky was my favorite, so you're not alone, Lindsay. I have seen it.
Thanks. I'm glad to know I'm not crazy.
Well, thank you for sharing, and welcome, Catherine, in Vermont. That is a long ways away from, I don't know, it's just a long ways away.
I just moved from Minnesota in February, so yeah, it was a halfway across the country journey.
Yeah, that sounds pretty long, pretty like a long drive. Anyone else?
I'm Megan. I'm currently living in Minnesota. I have to apologize, I have my children in the background. Let's see, I'm in the associates program, and my favorite movie, even as an adult, I still love, is The Little Mermaid. I honestly could not tell you why. I just was obsessed with it as a child, and it's still one of those feel-good type of movies as an adult.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing, Megan, and welcome.
I'm Natasha. I live in Illinois, and my favorite movie would have to be Tailspin because I like adventure.
Welcome, Natasha, and thank you. Anyone else? All right, here and seeing that there is nobody else that wants to participate, I'm going to continue on. So, checking in. I always like to check in to see how you guys are doing. So how's it going so far, and what are some of your reactions as you get into week 5? What went well this term, and what are you looking forward to your next explorations class? And do you guys know what your overall grade is at this point? If not, or if you have any questions regarding your grade, please email me in course messages so I could look at it and explain to you a little bit more. So if you are viewing this online, let me make sure to answer these questions in paragraph form. I want to hear from you guys. How's it going so far?
I'll go first. My classes are going really smooth. Actually, I'm surprised that I'm able to work 2 full-time jobs, become a parent, a wife, and go to school full-time, and it's working out for me. Normally, I would start my module 5 earlier than this. Like, I would start going through everything, but because of the fact that I've been sick, today is like the day that I have to actually get on it. My competency classes, I think, are the ones that went the best for me, just because, you know, you work at your own pace, and there's no time limit. I got through those pretty fast, so now I'm able to focus on this class primarily. Exploration 2.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you said what?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, with the Exploration 2, I'm really not sure what to look forward to. I mean, we went through Exploration 1, so I guess I'm just looking for a more, I don't know how you say it, a more challenging a more challenging way of looking at how we went through Exploration 1. I just see it as evolving. I haven't actually went and looked and seen what it was all about yet. And I believe that my grade, if I went and looked at it correctly, was 98 point something. So hopefully that's an A and not a low B.
Yeah. Well, looks like you're doing good in the class, and yeah, hopefully your next exploration class will maybe challenge you a little bit more if you think that you're in good terms with this class. I do think that I don't know if you're in CBE classes, but they do give you more multiple attempts to get things done, as with these classes, the 5.5-week classes, there's deadlines that you do need to make. So you don't have all the time in the world to get stuff done, but yeah, thanks for sharing.
I guess I'll go next. I would say that my classes are going fairly well. This is the first time that I've taken any kind of online courses. Generally, I am strictly an on-campus kind of person. So the non-face-to-face kind of interaction with me, I'm a hand talker, so I sit behind my computer literally right now talking with my hands and no one can see me. So for me, that's a little strange, but things seem to be going well. I've learned a lot of things as far as discipline, what I need to be more disciplined in now, what I have been disciplined in so far, as far as motivation-wise, what takes me a little bit longer, what things I can breeze through. So it's kind of like a trial and error, and that's going pretty well so far. My reactions to Module 5. I have reviewed some of the information for that as we just started, and I think that this term is going very well for me. And what went well is that I didn't really forget too much. I'm 31 years old, and I'll just throw it out there that I haven't been to school in quite some time, so APA formatting was something I had to relearn, and it was not as big of a challenge as I thought it was going to be. What I'm looking forward to in Explorations 2 is just to expand on Exploration 1. Like, I know that a lot of things I did know, some things I didn't know, and I'm just excited to see where it progresses from here. And yeah, I do know my overall grade at this point. I believe it is a 94.9. I did have a couple of days where I was actually in the hospital from gastroenteritis, so that was rough. But I've all caught up so far in all my classes, and I am excited to see where I go from here.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing, Catherine. Just to let you guys know, you guys don't need to repeat what your guys' grades are to everyone. As long as you guys know what they are, that is great to know. So yeah, that's awesome to hear that it's going well for you, and great. Anybody else want to share?
I think I'll go ahead. I kind of missed the introduction because my microphone wasn't working. I don't know. Did you want me to go over that as well?
No, just, you're good, Shamila. Just
okay.
Do what you just
I think my class overall is going well. I would say I've learned quite a few new things. As far as, I think I was pressed for time. Most of the time I was, because I'm working full time as well. I know a lot of people are not that pressed for time, but I was feeling a little crunched sometimes about getting everything in on time and having it done appropriately. I'm satisfied with my grades, and I'm looking forward to the next step and to see what new things that I can learn and use in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Shamila.
I guess I'll go ahead and go. So far, I think the class is going pretty well. I feel like we're all kind of in the same boat. We're all sort of getting used to this online class format. So I think this was a nice class to get used to it, and you've definitely been really nice about making sure we understand everything. So I really appreciate that, because it is, for me as well, since I've been in school at all, it's been about 10 years. So it's kind of nice to sort of ease into that. So far for Module 5, I kind of like to focus on positive and professional communication. A lot of times we're not really seen as professionals, and so it's nice to have a little focus on that. I think so far pretty much everything has gone all right. I haven't had any big disasters or huge speed bumps. Once I did everything once or twice, I pretty much was able to figure it out. For explorations too, just like everyone else said, just learning more. There's just a lot of stuff that either it's assumed that you know when you go in, or no one really bothers to tell you for early childhood education, and it's nice to feel like you have sort of a background, and again, sort of that idea of being a professional. I do know what my grade is. I've been keeping an eye on it, and everything makes sense. I like all the little comments you add too for stuff. It's just nice to get that reinforcement and know if we're doing something well, or if there's something we need to look at again. So
good. I'm glad that my feedback has been beneficial to your guys' learning, especially with your assignments. You know, when grading 20, 30 different assignments, it's hard to get a lot of feedback, but I try to do really good feedback to you know, everyone as much as I can when I can, especially if I see good things, or even if I see things that people could improve on, just so they know and have an understanding of what it is. So great. Anybody else before I move on? All right. Here and seeing that nobody else is going to participate, I'm going to keep going on. My goal is to try to keep this to an hour or so tonight, because you're going to realize that we have a lot of things due this week. So I wanted to go over your reflection assignment that will be graded based on the quality of the information you include from all 4 of your topics. This is worth 50% of the assignment grade. So you want to review your entries from all 4 weeks, revise, do further research, and add any additional information as necessary. As a reminder, your journal should be 1 document with each entry starting on a new page. Each entry should include the module it was assigned in and a unique title, you know, module 2 and whatever it was, whatever the topic was for that week. That would be fine. Each of your entries should be a minimum of 1 page, typed and double-spaced. It can be formatted in a bullet list or other creative format. The assignment should include a cover page. So you remember this, sometimes students get a little get confused with the cover page. It doesn't need to be a cover page for each module, just 1 cover page for the whole paper in general. And then last, the journal is worth 12% of your overall grade in the course. Does anybody have any questions? All right, hearing and seeing that there's no questions, I'm going to continue on. And if you guys do have questions, you could always feel free to text, or you could reach out to me in course messages or email. So important dates, there are a lot of assignments this week, not going to lie. There are 5. You have your discussion post that is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. You have your written assignment, your exploration assignment. The people that are not here participating, You'll have the live session quiz. People that are participating, you guys don't have to worry about that. That's for people that are not here. They will have to answer all the questions in paragraph form. And then you have your journal assignment. All assignments aside from the discussion are due Sunday, June 9th by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. A reminder that 10% of the assignment grade is deducted for each day that an assignment is late, but better late than never, so try to get it in as soon as possible. And as the college policy says, I cannot accept any assignments more than 7 days late. The course does end next Friday on June 14th. Module 6, next week's assignment, there's only one, which is the exploration assignment, which is due on Friday, June 14th at 11:59 Central Standard Time. There will be no assignments that will be accepted after 11:59 Central Standard Time on Friday, June 14th for any reason. And just per college policy, you got to make sure that everything is in. If you're having troubles, you need to reach out to me as soon as possible so I can work with you. Just, you know, I understand life happens and there's barriers, but I don't know of something that's going on and I find out really late, it's going to be hard for me to help you. So make sure to reach out to me as soon as possible if you have any questions or concerns. Does anybody have any questions?
I have one question. So the exploration assignment that you were talking about in the previous slide, is that just for this week, that's 50%, or is it all of them that you're going to grade like that?
So it's your journal assignment?
Journal one, okay.
Yeah, so the journal that you're supposed to be working on from module 2, 3, 4, 5, you put that in, so it's a page that you're writing about a specific topic. I can't tell you off the top what that is.
Yeah.
Basically, it's worth 12% of the overall grade of the class. You want to make sure that you have that in. So
yeah. Okay. Got it.
Did I answer your question, Shamila?
I think so.
Okay, I hope so.
If not, then you'll be getting text from me.
Okay, well, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Anybody else? You're seeing that there's no questions. I'm going to move on to the reflection and critical chapter 8. So this week you were supposed to come prepared to discuss question 3 and 4 in the live session. I want to take a look at question number 3, talking about important qualities needed to be good collaborators and communicators. You know, making a good impression. Some of the things that I used to do when I was teaching is I would try to get to know each family member, even if it's grandma or whoever drops off in the morning and whoever picks up if it's babysitter, their name. It's always nice to have a name in the face for the child that they're picking up each day. I think that is one of the key qualities of being a good collaborator and communicator. It just gives great customer service. Another thing I would like to say is, like, when, you know, another good thing for collaborating and being a good communicator is making sure that you have clear speech, that you have a smile on your face. I know sometimes not everybody has the best mornings or the best days, but you know, we always, when we are in the presence of parents and children, you know, always try to make sure that we have a somewhat of a happy face on, you know, and try to be positive, even when times might not seem positive in your personal life. Um, Another thing is to be pleasant and be aware and appropriate of social distance. Try not to prolong conversations. So that are just some of the things that, and some of the important qualities need to be a good collaborator and a good communicator. With that being said, which ones will be the easiest for you to demonstrate, and which ones will be a little bit more difficult for you to demonstrate, and explain why? I know when I was a teacher, sometimes having those difficult conversations with parents whose child would misbehave quite often was sometimes a little bit tricky and a little bit challenging, because sometimes the parents did not respond and they would ask, what did my child do today? And I think, you know, trying to keep to the positive, sometimes it's hard when you have that challenging child who grinds your gears. It's a little hard at times, but you know, always focusing on the positives, even if it's a little thing as far as little Johnny picked up one toy. I don't know exactly, but that's just an example, and sharing that with the parents. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit more. So this important qualities need to be a good collaborator. What do you guys, what's easiest for you? What's a little bit more difficult for you?
I'll go. I think that some qualities that you need to have, obviously, are being able to bring in positivity with gentle words. Make sure you're approachable. Sometimes people can have a bad day or whatever, but you still need to make sure that you can be approachable. And to be direct. Make sure that you keep things short, simple, to the point, but that the parents or guardians or babysitter, whatever it may be, understands exactly what you're trying to say. So there's no wiggle room for misunderstanding. Misunderstandings can be blown out of proportion. They can make a really negative impact. So make sure that you're really clear and direct. For me, I think what is going to be difficult is trying to keep things short. I'm obviously a talker. So I like to go into great detail about things. I like to be able to be sociable. So that's not going to be hard for me to be approachable. It's not going to be hard for me to be positive. It is going to be hard to keep things short, simple, to the point. So at least I'm self-aware of that and something that I can work on.
Yeah, and awareness is great to have. That's awesome that you're aware of that and that you know that is something that you could be working on. So yeah, thanks for sharing, Catherine.
I think I'll go next, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Shemar.
I think for me, some of what you were talking about is communication with the families is very easy. They can really open up with me, ask me a lot of questions about the child, and I get along very well with all of my families here. So I think that part, like you said, is very easy for me to have that relationship. Grandma, grandpa, whomever's coming in to drop them off, I make sure to stop, have a little conversation, welcome them into our center, ask them where they're from, say something nice about where they're from, or you know, if they're visiting or anything like that. As far as difficulty, it is some of those parents who you sometimes need to tell about the child who's having a difficult time in class. You do not want to give them bad news all the time when parents are picking up. I know they've had long days just like we have, but when you do, I've had the odd parent really go off on me. So I think that is something that's going to be difficult throughout working in childcare with children, is giving mom and dad bad news, and that is probably something that I'm going to need to work on and try to find a better way to smooth things out and give it to them gently so it doesn't have such a reaction from mom and dad. But that's about it.
Yeah, I kind of was in the same boat as you, Smile. I'd be very, very blunt about things and not really sugarcoat anything, and was really pretty direct. And then I realized, well, maybe I need to just take a step back and think about how I'm wording things and how I'm approaching things, because sometimes I get not mad, but really passionate about it, and it might come off the wrong way. So yeah, I think trying to focus on the positive, even if there's not much positive there, is key. And just making little notes in your mind, like, oh, I could tell mom about this. I
find that too. I think I get so involved with the children that I kind of consider them like they're my own. So when I tell mom and dad something, to me, I feel like I'm taking care of my own child. So I don't feel bad if I'm giving them bad news about something. I feel like, no, we both need to work on it. Some parents are more willing to work on that with me because they understand the whole process.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, some parents do get defensive and they think their child could do no wrong, and in all reality, that is not true, not very accurate. So, yeah. Thanks for sharing.
I'll go ahead and go next. Everyone's done a good job of covering like what makes a good communicator. I think for me the easiest thing is sort of like reframing and being really positive and really focused on the child. It's like all of us, I guess, it's just what I like to do. So I love telling parents about the kid's day, and I learned really early on, I don't know if everyone calls it the compliment sandwich, where it's something good, and then if you have something negative, and then follow it up with something good to kind of ease back in. I learned that pretty early on, and it seems to work. My biggest issue is probably with my coworkers. I sort of have trouble being very direct. I wouldn't say I'm a people pleaser exactly, but I definitely like things to be calm, and I like people to sort of get along. And so sometimes I have a hard time being really direct with my coworkers or saying no, or letting them know if there is a problem. I try to just do it all myself. So that's probably my biggest issue is the negotiating side of things.
You try to take on the world, and then you get frustrated and you don't know how to tell them, can you help? Maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. That, or it's everything's, oh no, that's okay, and then I end up spending extra time taking care of something that someone else should have done just as well. I'm not very good at like arguing, so I guess being more direct would be the right way to say it.
And I think in that situation, Lindsay, I think that you really need to talk with your co-teacher before children come, or sometimes children are already there when you get there, but like, whenever you lesson plan, and possibly come up with tasks and stuff that she will do or he will do, or whoever's going to be in there, and then you'll do it next, and so forth.
Yeah, I've definitely been told that before. You're not the first one, so I'm learning. I'm getting better. It's something I guess I'm learning with age. So
yeah, it's about it's practice, not perfection, and everybody it's good to grow, and that's why we're here. Anyone else?
I would say my most difficult part is getting, is like talking to the parents and stuff. I'm a very shy, not really outgoing kind of person. So like recently I've been switched to a new center within the company. So I have all new parents and kids and stuff, and so I really haven't got to connect with the parents yet and stuff, so I would say that would be my most difficult. And my most easiest is connecting with the children. I mean, getting down on the floor and playing with them and demonstrating the good behaviors and what's not okay for them to do would be my easiest part.
Sure. And I think, you know, Natasha, some of the things to consider is just, you know, how they want to be communicated. I think you also have to let them know how you want to be communicated to. I mean, sometimes, you know, it's a 50-50 way of communication. You know, a teacher could be like, well, this is the way I'm going to communicate. I'm going to communicate through a newsletter or an email, or I think people do Bright Wheel. I'm just throwing things out there. I don't know, but I think that making sure that you tell the parents this is how I communicate, and you know, try to meet them in the middle. You could ask them how they want to be communicated, and if it's fine that they like email or whatever, I think that's fine. Anybody else? All right. I am going to continue on. I'm not going to go over this next question, but I would like you guys to read the story regarding Kristen or Joseph, and what could have the teachers or administrators done to make either experience more positive. Just for the sake of time, I want to keep going. Sometimes in my live sessions, I tend to run a little longer than normal. So basically, you know, reflecting in critical think questions for chapter 8, but you know, important qualities to be a good collaborator is, you know, if you want to get to know someone or anything, you know, asking questions are a great way to understand someone's logic. So yeah, make sure to ask questions, especially if you don't understand, because you know, if you have a question, somebody else might have a question, and you know, you want to make sure that you guys are both on the same page. It goes with, you know, between me and my students, or even you and your parents, it's the same thing. You want to make sure that you have a good understanding for how things are perceived. So yeah. The next thing I wanted to do tonight, so we're going to skip question 4 because of the sake of time, but I would like you guys to look at that if you have a chance about the case study regarding Joseph and Kristen. But I'm going to jump over to the 6 principles lecture. I wanted to talk about the 6 principles for NACE's engaging families in an effective way. There's 6 of them, and I'm just going to go a little bit into each of them, and then we will talk about one principle in specifically, and then at the end of that, we will have time for questions and answers. So we'll talk about principle 1. So that's programs invites families to participate in decision making and goal setting for their child. So basically, programs do invite families to actively take part in making decisions concerning their children's education. So this could happen at parent-teacher conferences. Teachers and families jointly set goals for children's education, and then they learn both at home and at school. So sometimes whatever you're doing at home, maybe the goal might be to have little Johnny recognize the letter A at school, or his name, or whatever it may be. So, you know, you're working with that with little Johnny at school, but you're also possibly giving homework, not homework, but activities to the parent to promote that goal and to have that shared goal met at home. So their parent is teaching the child too at home, not just at childcare or at school. So that's a little bit about principle 1. Principle 2, we'll be talking a little bit, this one is a little bit more in depth. Teachers and programs engage in two-way communication. Strategies allow for both school and family initiated communication that is timely and continuous. Conversations focus on the child's educational experience as well as the larger program. Communication takes multiple forms and reflects each family's language preference. So that's a little bit about principle 2, and we will touch up on that a little bit more a little bit later. Principle 3, it's programs and teachers engage in families in ways that are truly reciprocal. Programs and families benefit from shared resources and information. So sometimes programs invite families to share their unique knowledge and skills and encourage active participation in life of the school. Teachers seek information about children's lives, families, and communities, and integrate this information into the curriculum and teaching practices. So pretty much, you know, taking their culture from at home and implementing that into the daily schedule of the child and of the program. Principle number 4, that's programs provide learning activities for the home and in the community. Basically, programs use learning activities at home and in the community to enhance each child's learning and encourage and support families' efforts to create a learning environment beyond the program. You know, more experience-driven for that one, field trips, etc. So that's a little bit within the community. The next one is programs invite families to participate in program level decisions and a wider advocacy of efforts. So basically, programs invite families to actively participate in making decisions about the program itself. Programs also invite families to advocate for early childhood education in the wider community. I know for that's like parent boards. For our Head Start program, we have a policy council that helps make decisions. It's a board that approves hires and fires and budget approvals to that extent. That's a little bit about Principle 5. Principle number 6, programs implement comprehensive program level system. Programs institutionalize family engagement policies and practices and ensure that teachers, administrators, and other staff receive the support they need to fully engage families. Basically, it says families work with the program to ensure that they receive the support they need to carry through different policies and procedures. They're more of a advocate for the actual program itself when it comes to policies. So having said all that, what principles stood out to you and why? For me, we could talk a little bit about principle number 2, because I think that's what stood out most to me on all these principles, more along your level of where you guys are too. Probably make more sense to talk about number 2. So basically, number 2, when I was a preschool teacher, the two-way communication took place from the beginning. I worked with parents to learn a little bit about their child before they actually began the class, so I would develop the best strategy for the transition into the classroom to meet the child's individual needs. And basically, as the times have changed, it's been way over a decade since I've been teaching children. There have been a lot of new ways to communicate with families. We have an age of technology, which parents, parents that work a lot like to engage in just because it's quicker. It's quicker for you probably than making 20 phone calls a day. But yeah, so like when I was in the classroom, I did send home weekly newsletters, which I think, I think we need to make sure that we meet all the parents where they are. Some people like hard copies, some people like digital. I also made phone calls and set up conferences, had parents' night, picnics, open houses, volunteer opportunities. But now with the prevalence of social media, there's just various new ways to communicate with families, and feel like back in the day, now I would have been a little bit outdated on how I communicated, but there's different things like Pinterest out there, Pinterest boards. They're pretty easy for teachers to share information and ideas so that families can stay informed, to find new creative ways to help their children at home. As teachers, we can make a board that has current research on different educational topics or issues to create one that may include a subject-specific activities for the children to do at home, because you don't really get a chance to do it. One of my favorite boards was doing recipes to make at home. But yeah, each board gives families the opportunity to take concepts that you're teaching at school and engage a child at home. And if a parent has a Pinterest account or a Pinterest smartphone app, which are both free, they can use and see your kids and will therefore know there's something that they can be working at home with their child. So that, is a great way to communicate, one way out of for social media. Another one is Twitter. Twitter account allows teachers to follow other educational professionals, organizations that tweet about education-related topics, activities, articles, so forth. When a family has a Twitter account, they are able to follow the teacher to see these different ideas and topics and read about important issues related to the children and their education. The teacher's education professional Twitter account must be kept separate from the personal Twitter account. So that could be another way to use social media. One of the other things that I thought was really encouraging is the classroom website. I only know a few teachers who actually put the time and effort to actually do that, and I don't know if you work for a corporation, they might not want you to do that, depending on their policies and procedures, but it is another good way for your class to promote that two-way communication. So, anyone could design a classroom website, and your website can be built to include anything you want it to. Some important things teachers can include on their website may be daily schedules, weekly or monthly calendars, snack calendars, classroom rules, dress code information, things you're working on at school, stuff to that extent, permissions of your school and the families and anything that you feel is important. Classroom website can also include a blog, which you can post a newsletter or write ideas, articles, or topics that you want to hear or share with your families. So there are a lot of different avenues of two-way communication through social media. And I just want to open it up to you guys. What can you guys do as educators to engage families in two-way communication? And I'm sure that you guys probably do this a lot. This is just different avenues of two-way communication that you probably might have heard but not actually really explored. And what do you currently use that is, and is it effective to your families? Why or why not? I know my wife, she has in-home daycare here, and she uses Brightwheel, which is free. And the parents really love to see the pictures of of their children and what they have eaten and pottied and all that other good stuff throughout the day. So I'm going to open up to you guys. What's your thoughts? What can you do as educators to engage your families?
In our center, we have an app called Hi Mama, and we can send the parents, they get pictures, and they can reply on the pictures. We send them emails through Hi Mama, and then they can reply back on those too. They also can see when they get their diaper changed, when they went potty, what they have had for lunch, the activities for today. We also do a lesson plan for every week that we can also post on Hi Mama. So it's kind of like a central all for the parents to know what's going on in the classroom and stuff. So that's really nice. I really like it because then the parents can log on and see what their kid is doing and stuff. So yeah.
If a, real quick, Natasha, if a parent didn't have access to the app, is there another way that you would communicate to the parent or guardian or whoever picks up?
Yeah, if they didn't, then we would talk to them when they come in a lot and send them pictures a different way, or like we would take them and print them off for them too. We could keep like a journal if they wanted to and all that stuff. We're usually really flexible in what the parents need.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
The center I used to work at actually had Brightwheel, the same app, and it was really nice. It was nice to be able to send pictures and videos, and there were even ways to do like assessments, portfolio type things. Where I work now, due to some, I think just some technical, like a technical situation they have, we're doing just sort of the paper daily sheets, and then a paper printout every day of like the summary of the day with like some group photos, and just a lot of verbal communication, making sure we talk to every parent when they get there and every parent when they pick up, and then emails and things like that. But I think if you have trouble talking to the parents, it's nice to have the paper daily sheets. It sort of forces you to interact, or parents you don't know very well, because if they have questions, they have to come to you. The app was really nice, though, to keep, like Natasha said, to keep them updated throughout the day. They knew when their child ate. They knew when they went to the bathroom. If they had a really rough morning, an hour later you could send a video of them playing, and the parents knew that they were okay. So I guess there's positives to both, but these days, especially with a lot of families that do have access, like a smartphone or the internet, the apps and things like that are really convenient.
Yeah, and I think it's also beneficial for, you know, if the regular teacher wasn't in there the whole day, and they don't know completely the whole schedule of what was going on with that child, good to have that app to know what the child ate, drank, did throughout the day. So yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
I can go. At our center that I'm at, it's pretty old school, I would say. There's a lot of emails. We don't do any sending pictures over social media or even through the email. Most of the time we just print them out, put them in their profiles, or we display them in class for mom and dad to see, and we may point it out to them to, or you know, when they come in, so we display it where they are able to see it. We do send them home as well, but it's a printout of a picture. It's not in their email or anything like that. And as far as communicating for the younger children, they do get a daily sheet, and for the older ones, it's just verbal or through email, like I said.
Nice. We're kind of on the same boat as you, Shamila. We have we do pretty much the same thing. We don't have daily sheets. We do we do newsletters and talking to the parents verbally. And if there's any issue, we just talk over the phone. But since we do work in a low-income area, it's really hard to reach parents, especially with apps and different things, because some people don't have phones. So yeah, it's sometimes a little bit harder in that sense to reach out to the families.
Yeah, pretty much. We either give them we give them a call, send them an email. If they have any questions, then we wait, and you know, we'll speak to them one-on-one in the office or in the classroom. But other than that, it's very hands-on. It's not technical at all.
Yep, I get it. Anyone else?
In my class, we have a couple of different. Oh, I'm sorry, my child. We have a couple of different things we do. I have a monthly newsletter. We have newsletters. We have what we have is called a parent communication folder, and each child has their own special cubbies with a private folder where sometimes I'm out and the parent has something they would like to share with me, or something, or vice versa. That little folder in there is where, you know, quick notes kind of thing. We also have the class dojo. Class dojo is kind of, I know a lot of different like public schools and stuff use them. Kind of neat because it's like your own little like class website, but it's a lot more private than like Facebook per se. And it's nice because then you can message the parents in private, and you know, everybody's business isn't out there for everybody else to see. So.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Megan.
Can I say hi? You didn't say hi.
Are you shy?
Daddy. It's not your daddy.
Hello. Anybody else? All right. Hearing and seeing that there is no other questions or no other responses, if you are viewing this online, please answer these 2 questions, actually 3 questions, And in paragraph form, that does conclude our live session for tonight. And once again, if you guys have any questions between now and the end of the class, please reach out to me if you need anything. I'm here to help you. I want you to succeed. And it was great having you guys all for this term. Once again, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. If not, you guys all have a good night. Make sure to have your type your name at the bottom so I know that you participated tonight. Thank you.